welcome. I have been diving more back into, I don't know, my normal nerdy love for knowing what astrological events are going in the sky. And I was like, hey, you know what? I like talking about this stuff, and I've been meaning to get back into my predictions and to do more astrology stuff. I still am doing tarot. I actually pulled a few cards from a new deck before I got on to do this, so there's some of that in there. I love my tarot astrology mix, but I definitely want to lean more back into my astrology, especially if I'm going to be teaching it soon in in-person classes, which is going to be really fun. So, this week is going to be very interesting. I'm actually happy to put this out, even if I don't get right into doing these every week, which is my goal. Typically, when I start one, I intend to do the next one and to follow through with it. I'm hoping that doing the vlogs that I've done over the whole 40 days and 40 nights thing and stuff like that, that I will be much better at that now. And if not, I'll keep working at it. And what's funny is that's kind of the energy that we're feeling so we have the north node of the moon this year is in Taurus. About every 18 months, the lunar nodes will switch, and that determines the eclipse cycle and kind of an overall pattern to like what we all experience collectively when it comes to, well, our overall energy and karma. And it's a lot to do with shadow work because, like, the moon itself, even when the moon is fully illuminated, it still has its shadow side. It's still typically seen best at night. Like, think about those Jungian metaphors, right? But yes, so the North Node is in Taurus, South Node is in Scorpio, which oddly enough, it's funny, is actually my natal chart placement. So it's like right back around sort of to where we were when I was born. And that for me makes this an extra interesting one. And I'm happy because like having that personal interest in it, it helps me be more invested in wanting to learn about it overall. And that just adds to the adorably nerdy lexicon of astrology that I speak in my everyday life. But that's even that, like, so that Taurus North Node. So, I mean, everything's got its shadow and light. So, in its positive side, it's about productivity, but in a working smarter, not harder kind of way. Like, right, like Taurus definitely does not like to be prodded or pressured or pushed or things like that. Like, it wants to go at its pace and time in its own way. And, like, it's happy to, how do I put it? And it knows which direction it wants to go. It's related to the Empress energy, so it knows how to follow the flow. So when you're in that positive Taurus North Node energy, like you can listen to spirit, you can check into that like very divine feminine sort of energy, and you can flow with that in a way that manifests more material things. Now, there's definitely higher things too, but Taurus is the ruler of the second house, which is literally where materialism goes, and when you're looking at all the different houses. And it's definitely to do with our careers and our finances, our pentacles, our coin, things like that. And so it does have to focus on that, but it also has to focus on like what is the literal there, our homes, our physical bodies, things like that. And it's very much in when it's in its alignment, when you're in alignment with it, you're going to be able to easily like both attract things towards you and be able to go get things, like to know where to go get them, to have kind of that natural instinctual sense. And you'll probably be feeling very sensual and very like, I want to say brass, but not in like a negative sense, like boldness, courageousness, like uh you know almost even like you might be upset about injustices and things like that, like very noble sort of energy. And then on the shadow side of that, like it can also be, there could be bullishness, there could be stubbornness, there can be blindsidedness, there could be over focus on materialism. Like there might be a lot of things going on that like either you've already started to see them or they will ramp up this week, because this energy of these nodes it started on January 18th, but it's like picking up more this week, especially now that we have no planets retrograde for at least, well, what is it, February, March, April? So, but a little over a month. that we have all planets direct. It's been a while. We've all been through like Shadow Storm and Karmic Carnival after Karmic Carnival for the last couple of years, like the last 18 months, while the axis was North Node Gemini and South Node Sagittarius, where everybody was like questioning their beliefs and getting philosophical about things and like getting more into digital stuff and data and just like things like that. And like now we're in this energy of like, okay, Taurus is like, it's time to take action, but like calculated action. But it's also about like, there are good times to push, like to get your horns in on it and push or to protect yourself. And there are other times when that's just like being a bull in a china shop. And there are times when you want to go get something, and there's times you want to use that Venusian energy and call those things towards you. And on the positive side of that Taurus energy is like really, really good patience. Not to the level to where you're letting your boundaries be down or you're being letting yourself be disrespected, but in the moments where it really matters, where there's pressure that would normally get to anyone else. When you are in good alignment with this energy, you will not be like shaken or like your inner peace will not be disturbed because of it. Now, on the shadow side of that, it could be that if you've not been doing your work or like you did not like get your beliefs figured out or like get your data in line or anything like that over the last 18 months before this, like you might find yourself shaken by almost everything. Like that's the unstable side of that, and like those are the karmic lessons for you to learn this year is to be get to a space where like Taurus, especially in good energy, that like that Empress energy, that Venusian energy, it's definitely all about self-love, you know? And so like if you've not been if you let's put it this way, if your spirit team is like this one needs some extra attention after class, this might be some of your lessons this year is like focusing on healthy independence and also being able to work in a team without losing your own identity in it. And it might be, it might be getting back to like I really feel like this energy, especially of this week and especially as we move towards the moon in Cancer, like it's going to be more about like looking at our basics. Like, I don't know, like if you've been in a space where you've been thinking about relationships or you're in a relationship that's not doing well, or like friendships, family, business stuff not doing well, like take a step back and like look at your own inner work and things that you could do on yourself that could help shift things on the outside, because it's more likely that it's that inner work not being done that is creating problems in your outer world. And that leans into this, this increasing energy of the South Node in Scorpio, which like I mean, if so, this is like related to the death cards. There's a lot of transformation, like ego deaths, things like that, skeletons in the closet that come out. But it's also like it's that like the old wounds that either got closed up poorly, didn't heal right, or created weird scars. Like those can be not fixed per se, but like transformed and into good things. Like they often have to get reopened first, but Scorpio is like the surgeon of that, and it definitely goes into things that like have to do. It's the eighth house, so it has to do with the bedroom, like limerence versus love and lustfulness and like the secrets that we keep that we hope that nobody will know about. And like if you've done a lot of your work, then you really you probably don't live in a way that you have much of anything to hide. I know I worked on a whole heck of a lot of that, and it makes me feel really good because I didn't even know what the axes of the moon were going to be. That wasn't in my lexicon of nerdy astrology lore just yet. And like I find that just because like I suppose in the energy of the Sagittarian South Node from the last 18 months, just like worked on me stuff and getting to the point where I could just live authentically. Like I had, in fact, at the beginning of this week, I had somebody say something about, oh, what was it? They were trying not to tell people about my situation with my son and stuff, where we've been homeless and like not airing other people's dirty laundry. And I said, hey, I ain't got nothing to hide. I don't feel shameful. Like, there's no crime in this, and like I'm not the one that created all the circumstances by myself to make this the best possible option for us. Like, so like, and also just like that is a part of that Taurus North Node energy too. And it's like ramping up this week, especially as we have some aspects that are going on with Neptune and Pluto. And like I said, we're going to be like, warming into the moon in Cancer over the weekend. And it's really creating this energy of like that North Node, South Node. So like the material, the physical, like, our own our own ability to be in that like receptive empress energy, like nurturing but also like flowing, not controlling, not doing that stuff. And then the south node stuff of like how much of the things that you really either would have preferred that nobody know about have come up, or how, how comfortable would you be if they did, and like where are you at with that stuff. That's really going to, it's going to ramp up, but it's going to, it's funny, like I'm still getting used to explaining the various different aspects. So there's some stuff going on with Pluto to where this is the stuff that has been felt more intensely, like probably I'm gonna say, I don't know, maybe like October into January-ish, as the nodes started to change over, like, and started to get into the new setup, to where now there'll be some intensity on those things, like, people who was it dirty laundry, and the people that we've lost, and like realness of things, and job stuff, and home stuff, and what goes on in the bedroom, and various different things of that nature. But it's going to get us to the point to where we can go back to the basics, which is, it's more of the Taurus side of things, but Scorpio has some of that too. Like, think about it. Like, if a doctor goes in to like re-break a bone to put it, to set it so it can heal properly, like the pain to go through that may suck, yes, but it will be set to where it can heal itself, and then it regrows in a healthy way, and then you don't have any more problems, right? So like, what do you want? To like avoid that initial pain of the re-break and like have it like affect you the rest of your life, or go through a little bit of the pain to get it rebroken into the right space so that it heals in a proper way, so you don't have to worry about it anymore. Like, I think most logical people would go for the second one of like, no, fix it. Like, I can figure out how to deal with that temporary pain. And it really is this energy. You're probably going to see a fair number of people, like at least starting within this week, to show signs that like they're ready to go back to the basics, basics of communication, basics of interaction, basics of boundaries, basic respect, just the basics. It's kind of a good like do-over energy sort of week. And a lot of this will likely have to do with family and things that have been like emotional on your mind as we get towards that Cancer moon. And it might even like it's very likely some conversations will happen over meals and various different things like that. So don't be surprised on that one, because Cancer rules the fourth house, and that's kind of the kitchen in all of the houses. And it definitely leans more towards more of this mother shadow energy that's been going on, which makes sense actually, because with with Taurus being related to the Empress, and that would be the mother, like having that shadow work in there really makes sense. See how it can fit together. And so as that stuff comes in, we're going to be like, it feels like the best way to say it is like, we're already at the peak of the energy that's been really like, oh my gosh, I don't want people to know this, or oh my gosh, people know these things, or like working on facing our own BS and owning our own truths. Like, we've been getting into the peak, and we're going to go kind of up and down. It'll be its own sort of roller coaster ride as we go through eclipse season, and then we get back into retrograde season and things like that, and like it will go up and down. But for right now, we've like hit that first like small peak, and it's going to come back into all this direct energy from all the planets, and come into that Cancer moon, which is actually going to be kind of a warm moon. And you might see some connections come in that either you had not expected. Like, it will help a lot of people face their own reflections of various things, maybe how they've been crabby, or how they've been um, challenging things in ways that they really didn't need to, like where they've been stubborn and prideful and not like being combative at times when it's just not necessary, or taking things far out of context when it really didn't mean as much as they took it as, or being extra sensitive, things like that. And some of this, like, crappy ability to communicate, even I'm experiencing it, like, because Mercury's still going direct. We're still in the post shadow, so there's still some of that energy of communication being a bit of a challenge. But by the end of this week, as we get through the Cancer moon, that should be a lot easier, and that should start to go a lot smoother. And that feels like it's definitely good news. I think most people would feel good news of that. Most people have been feeling it, like we're really feeling the all the planets being direct a lot more intensely than normal, and that's probably that Scorpio South Node too. But even Taurus, like both Taurus and Scorpio, are very much about intensity. It's just in different directions, like about different things. So I'm going to do some more videos and talk more about that. It'll help me become a smoother orator when I'm doing these videos, and hopefully help me continue my stream of being able to explain astrological events in ways that are a little bit easier for people to understand. But for right now, I'm going to cut this off. I hope that you enjoyed this week's predictions. Let me know in the comments below if this stuff's going on for you, or feels like it will, or if you're feeling the energy, or if you just love this part of astrology, then let me know.